Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Business Growth Show, where we talk about all components of business and how to utilize them for exponential growth. My name is Athin Cassiotis. I'm a business growth expert who helps business owners grow and scale to create wealth and freedom. And today, I have an awesome guest. His name is Randy Molland, and he's the co-founder of a real estate investment and educational company called the REINVESTORS, where they help investors get connected to incredible investment opportunities. And he also co-leads Synergy Mastermind, a mastermind for high-level investors in Canada, where they all work together to create bigger opportunities and support each other to achieve more. And although real estate is where his entrepreneurial journey started, his true passion lies in a bigger mission of wanting to inspire people with his Go Big to Give Big movements, where they encourage others to go bigger with their dreams and goals so that you can give bigger with their profits. And he's leading the charge of the mission by running a mastermind, creating an online community, and hosting a podcast called Go Big to Give Big, where he's making others aware of how easy it is to start giving back from the beginning of building a company and inspiring six-figure earners to become seven-figure givers. Welcome, Randy Molland. Thank you for being on my show.
Dude, Athin, I'm so excited to be here. I'm just fired up. You got me all fired up already.
Awesome, mate. I love it. I love to start with a lot of energy, and we'll get this show on the road. I'm sure it's going to be awesome for everyone watching and listening today. So you're a very successful entrepreneur. So for those people who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself by telling us about you and your journey.
Yeah, so my journey has been a very entertaining one, and I was very lucky at a young age to get started in the trades. So I was an electrician by trade, and very lucky to be ticketed by the time I was 22. So I got a really early start into it, learned a lot of leadership skills, managing a job site at 22, managing a bunch of, 40 and 50-year-olds below me and learning how to do that. And then I was mentored by a very incredible guy that took me under his wing and just kind of saw something in me and was like, hey, a young guy that's hustling hard, I want to show him the ropes. And he did so. And by the time I was 25, I was able to buy my first home. And so I bought my first home when I was 25 and thought I was on this path to financial freedom at, 25 years. I'll pay off my home and I'll retire at 50. And I'll be so far ahead of everyone else that's going to retire at 65. And thought I was on this incredible path. And unfortunately, 2 weeks after I bought my first home, my mentor passed away from a job site accident. And he was 42 when he passed away. And I had this realization that, man, I might not even make it to 50 to get to retirement. So what am I working for now? And so I just realized that I wanted to go all in on life and see what I was capable of. So I Googled how to make a ton of money and never work again. I found real estate investing and I went all in on it. I used my trade skills to go in and renovate properties. I found people that would put cash into the deals and then we'd split profits 50-50. So I started building this incredible real estate investment company and got into the hustle culture and the grind and started putting in a lot of hours, a lot of work. And at the age of 28, had a non-epileptic seizure due to stress and overwork and just malnutrition. And I went to the doctors and everything they said was that every test came back perfect. You just weren't taking care of yourself and you're too stressed and working too hard. So I had this realization again of like, I'm not even going to make it to 42 to get hit by a telephone pole is how my friend died. I got to reevaluate my life again. And so funny enough, a few days after that happened, I got sent a podcast by a friend. And it was about this guy who was talking about, if you want to make $1 million a year, you should learn how to make $2 million, give $1 million away, and then live off the $1 million that you have and don't feel guilty about taking the $1 million that you get because you gave $1 million away. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's what I was missing in my life. I was missing the driving component. Wasn't about making more money and getting rich and retiring sooner. It was actually about making impact in this world. And so from that moment on, I decided to go all in on giving back. That became my ethos and part of my story. And so we started donating $10 for a meetup that we were running in town that was free. We started charging $10 for it. And we had 30 people coming on a monthly basis. Next thing you know, we had 60 people, 90 people, all the way up to 100. So we started donating $1,000 a month. And I went from being burnt out and fatigued to being excited to put that many people in the room. And I was like, I wonder if this would work in my real estate portfolio. So I started donating $10 per door per month. And next thing you know, I was excited to go buy more real estate again and close more doors because we were donating consistent monthly revenue to supporting these organizations. And then I started a mastermind, and same thing. I started donating $200 per member. And all of a sudden it was like excited to put more people in the mastermind. And I haven't been, knock on wood, I haven't been burnt out since. And I feel absolutely excited every single day for the work that I'm doing because it inspires me and I have a giving component to it. And the bigger I scale my businesses, the bigger I get to give back. And that was how the birth of Go Big to Give Big came to be. Is my business partner and I were sitting there after we had gone through some of this process and had a lot of fun with it. And I was like, man, the only thing I know is that the bigger we go, the more we can give. We just need to go big to give big. And that kind of became our slogan in about 2018, 2019, and just continued to do that. And then just in the past year, been focusing a lot more on consulting businesses and organizations on how they can start adding a giving component to their business. So I kind of am coining a term called fractional CGO, Chief Giving Officer. So you'll hire a CFO to come in and fix your finances, or a COO to come in and help you build some operations. Now I go into organizations as a fractional CGO, and I just build the whole giving division of their company, create a playbook for them, and give it back to them so that they can go have the same fulfillment I did and be more excited to create more revenue and make more impact in this world.
Yeah, awesome, man. So powerful story. I love it. And how you've linked it to all those things that you did along the journey. And love the CGO as well. Something new that I've heard for the first time today. Very cool. So, I love this. It's like under the philanthropy banner of what you're doing and really, being able to give back, as you say. And I guess what I'd like to know is about how this plays in, because I think, in business, the strategy of the business and the direction, like the mission, the vision, the values, those types of things, right? Are key in a business. But then, how do we then sort of incorporate this into the strategy, right? So that, the business is still moving forward. But so what are your thoughts around, how that, strategy gets changed, I guess, or upgraded, from this?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things for me is that we actually tie it to line items of your business, right? So as you sell more products, or as you sell more services, or as you continue to see growth, so does your donations. So what I understand is, Athin, I can't come into your business today and say, you know what, let's donate 20% of all the revenue that you make, because you need that to grow your business and you've built your lifestyle on it. But what we typically like to do is say, hey, is there a product or service that you're selling that maybe isn't selling as fast or as much as you want? Let's attach a giving component to it and see what it can do. So an example of that is my friend runs a company called Mixologer, where they send like alcoholic pre-made cocktails to your house and you make the drinks. And he has a shaker cup that he's like, it's an upsell and they're not really selling much. And I'm working with him right now to say, hey, why don't we donate 50% of all the profits you make from the upsell of that tumbler shaker? And now he's saying that he's going to try and get more sales because we added the giving components to it, and it doesn't change his bottom line revenue, but now he's able to give back from this upsell product that he has. So a lot of times we come in, we try and find upsells that we can do, new products that we can do. If you're a real estate investor, it's like going forward, any property you buy, can we do the $10 a door? Whatever it looks like, we try and find a new way to create revenue inside your business, add a line item of giving so that it becomes continuous and scalable and trackable as a metric, no different than as you track all your KPIs. This just becomes a new KPI to track of how much are we donating every single month or every single week based on the products that we're selling.
Yeah, love it, mate. Love that distinction of linking it all of that and how you're moving it forward. Now, I guess the other thing is like, who are you going to give it to, right? Because I know obviously there could be some things that are close to you that you want to give, but there's a lot of, shady potential companies, right? Where you've seen in the news over the years where maybe they're not giving everything that they should away and things like that, and they're keeping a lot for themselves. So how do you think about like identifying good, partners of, who to give to make sure that they're making great contributions, for yourself?
Absolutely. It says one of the biggest reasons why people don't give. So many people love giving back. They're like if you ask people, it's like, do you love giving back? Everyone's like, yeah, I love giving back. It's just human nature to want to give. The problem is there's so many scam artists out there that people are always on edge, right? They're always looking for the worst things. And you hear things like a lot of cancer societies or different organizations that, only a small percentage of what you actually donate gets to the end user. So if you're worried about that, what I encourage people to do is start locally with a smaller organization that they can kind of watch and see what happens and know where that money goes. So even if their operation head runs at maybe 30%, so 70% of your dollar gets spent, at least you know the people that you're supporting, right? You're like, hey, I'm okay paying this person's salary a little bit because they need to run. They're a business. I get that. But now I'm supporting it locally and supporting a good cause. So I encourage people to just find locally, and I encourage people to ask for recommendations. That's the easiest thing. It's just ask some other people around, like, hey, where are you donating to, or what's exciting you? Start asking some questions in that space, because that will allow you to start building a trust factor where you don't need to do a bunch of vetting. If you feel you need to go in and do a full audit of their finances before you write a check to somebody, then that's going to make life a lot harder for you. So start with a smaller amount to a local charity and just start giving as a practice, as building like a repeatable system so that you get used to it, right? We're trying to build up that reputation that, hey, I'm just going to continuously give. And you start with a little bit to a local charity. And then as you start getting involved in charity worlds, you start getting more and more people talking to you. On a weekly basis, I've really got 10 different charities that get brought to my attention now, where I get to pick and choose and learn more about them. And then one of the things I encourage people to do is maybe look for 2 different types of charities that, as they continue to scale and grow, one that makes you really happy. So in this world, donating should make you feel really good. And when you donate, I donate to a local, it's called Kids Sport, and I watch kids go through and play sport. That makes my heart warm, thinking that I'm getting to help kids that maybe can't buy soccer cleats get a pair of soccer cleats. It makes me feel good. On the other hand, we talk about something that makes you like sick to your stomach, something that you can't stand that exists in this world. When you think about maybe child sex trafficking, or you think about clean water, that you're like, man, why is there not more clean water in this world? How is there still people living on Earth that don't have access to clean water? It is just money, essentially, and time that is just stopping us from making that happen. That is the driving factor for one of my charities that makes me want to do more. I realize that I still have a lot of work to do, and I need to continue to grow because there's still more problems in this world I want to solve. So those are kind of 2 different avenues that I encourage people to look at as they continue to get into this space. I have one that makes me happy, and then one that makes me want to drive and solve world problems.
Yeah, I love it, mate. Love both of those angles, and the direction on how to move forward with finding the right ones for you that are going to do the right thing locally initially and build that base of yours. And I think a lot of this comes down, like in business generally, it's about branding, right? Like we want to build our brand as we go along. And what I'd like to know is then how do we then link this, right? Because I think this could be very powerful if we can link this giving element and really put it out there to even grow our brand even more. This could build more customer loyalty or build a business at the same time. So what are your thoughts about how we can structure that with our brand?
Man, you're hitting the A+ questions today. These are layups for me. So there's this stat out there from a Cone Consumer Report based in America, where I'm from. It said that 89% of all consumers want to work with an organization that gives back versus one that doesn't. So you have, I'm going to use real estate investing because that's the space I was in. Athin, you're building an apartment building and you're offering 15% returns. And I'm building an apartment building and offering 15% returns with the same amount of time and the same amount of things. So we're apples to apples. What that statement is saying to me is that if I were to add a giving component that says, hey, for every 30 doors I buy, I get to put 1 kid through organized sport. That means 30 doors, $10 a door is $300 a month. That is how much it costs to put 1 kid through organized sport. So for every 30 doors I buy, I put 1 kid through sport. If I have that attached to my buildings, my portfolio, my name, and what I'm doing, I'm likely to take 89% more investors into my organization than you. So we're offering the same products, but now I'm starting to capture the market share. So now I'm actually taking investors away from you and bringing them into my organization because I do good. And that is something that's fantastic because now I'm starting to build a collective of humans that want to be a part of the mission that we're on, that is going to inspire and change and get more involved with charities. So my business does good. That's why people want to come and work with me and partner with me and do things. And it's not just a number I'm making up. These are actual stats that are out there where they've done consumer reports in multiple different places. You can look the stats up. Everywhere has a little bit different number, but that's the one. It's all in the high 70s, low 80s, or sorry, mid 80s, low 90s stats, saying that people want to work with organizations that are giving back. Even as far as your employees, your retention. There's a study out there that found that 93% of all employees that volunteer with their work like their job better and like their employers better. 93%. So you have a 93% chance of having your employees like you more if you offer them volunteering opportunities. That's crazy. Like, think of that. Like, hey, team, do you want to go volunteer just so that you like me more? It's a wild world. That is something that, this is why I'm doing a lot of consulting on it, because not a lot of people are able to understand what all this means. But I've been able to build it and prove it inside my companies, that we're seeing a lot of these people come towards us and be attracted to us because of our giving nature.
Yeah, I love it, man. And very happy to give you layups, mate. It's all a team effort, right? If we use the sport analogy, and someone's got to put it in, someo's got to set it up. I've played a lot of soccer myself, as we call it in Australia and Canada. You know, football in most other parts of the world, and I do love playing. So, but you know, same with basketball, whatever team it is. Yes, someone's got to play that part. So, but you're giving a lot of great value, man. I love it. And I guess the next part in my mind is then, how can we showcase this? Like, how can we show these efforts? Because it's good to say, hey, yep, you know, we used the example before, you know, 30 doors and I put a kid through sport. That's great. How can we really show the bigger impact, right, of this? Is there things, you know, we're putting this on our website, potentially in some sort of ways, or what are ways that we can really, you know, showcase the big impact, I guess, that we're making and ongoing? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I'll just be clear with as well is, what I give privately, I don't post anywhere. So you guys won't see me sharing about what I do privately as Randy Molland, as a human. You know, you don't see me sharing a ton about what I'm doing as my giving. But what I do as a business, I do publicly, because I want to show what we're doing and why we're doing it and how we're doing it. Now, how do we show that? There's so many different ways that people can do it. We've done things where it's a little bit on the website where it says, like, hey, as like a header line, or what are those called? Like the heroes, where it's scrolling. Like, I've been down to Mexico and I've served a lot of kids in Mexico, and I have a lot of footage of me playing soccer with kids down there. That could be the hero for your website. And it says in the little corner that, you know, for every kid or for every 30 doors that we buy, we help put one kid through sport every single month. Something like that to start. All you're trying to do is use it to get attention. It's not meant to be plastered everywhere. It's not meant to be like your forefront of your business. Your business is still your business. You need to be the best at what you do. You still need to sell your services. But what you need to do is use this as a value add to what you're selling. So it is not the main product you're selling. So when you look at your website and you look at your social media and you look at your pages, if it's the main thing on there, people are going to think scam, fraud, you're only marketing this for that. Unless you're my business, because my business is about giving back, but still it's around consulting. But what it is it's meant to be catching people's attention and catching people's eyes so that they start asking you questions. So next thing you know, they're going, hey, Athin, tell me a little bit about this thing that you do. And the whole thing is that we're trying to relate human to human, right? Instead of me trying to sell you on a product or service, I want to speak to you as two humans that love giving back, that can be relatable to each other. Because now that I've got you on board with the what we're doing as work, you like me more, you trust me more. And anyone in business knows that if you can build the know, like, and trust factor combined with an 89% more trust and 89% want to work with you in that system, then people will want to work with you more. So the whole thing about what we're doing is go out there and share what you're doing as considered as a value add or an add-on to your already amazing sales pitch. If your sales pitch sucks and then you say, hey, I also want to give, people aren't going to buy your product because your product is just not good, right? Just because you give doesn't mean that you're going to be able to superior products or make more money or anything like that. You should still do it because giving's amazing. But if your product is great and then you add the giving component, that is where we start to see the huge growth. So on social media, people, it's like posting about a dog, right? Pets. People care less about your business and they care more about your pets. When I make a post about my dog, I get 10 times more likes, 10 times more follows, and 10 times more people commenting on it than when I share something about my business. It's wild. It's the same thing around giving. When I share stuff through giving, I tend to get more likes, more love, and more support. But if I do that too often, then it just gets bogged down. So I don't know if that answers your question completely, but kind of gives them a little bit of examples of how they can do it.
Yeah, awesome, man. No, thanks for that. It's good. It's yeah, how we communicate that and everything, which is awesome. I get, in business, as much as we want to make an impact and give and everything like that, we still need to make a profit, right? It's important to have a profitable business, otherwise you're not going to have a business,
100%.
after the fact. So how, because some people, let's just say, like, I know I'm decent at numbers, and you may be, but some people that may be not as good as numbers or have a smaller team or something like that, how do we think about like making sure there's still financial stability? They're not going, they're giving, they want to give huge amounts, but then it puts the business into not being profitable anymore, and those elements there to make sure the bottom line is looking good, but the philanthropic giving is still there at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I've leaned a lot more on this 1-for-1 model. Every time I sell a product, a given amount away, it's a lot easier to control. If you start talking about 10% of net profit or revenues or things like that, it tends to be a little bit more confusing for people. They tend to get a little bit lost in that. Well, like, how much did I sell? What's actually net? Next thing you know, they're maybe donating the wrong amount, and they're like, whoa, I can't actually give this month because they actually need that money to do things. When I say something like, hey, let's do $10 per door per month, I just run my numbers. And when it actually fits into those numbers, it doesn't matter. The math becomes simple and easy because it's there. So let's just say you're selling a product or a service and you sell it for $100 per item. I don't care if you donate $1, $5, $10. It doesn't matter how much you donate. It's that you do donate, because we're trying to build a muscle to learn how to give. No different than you take a line item off for your taxes. You take a line item off for your giving, and that just becomes part of your nature. But you bake it into your numbers to know exactly what your profit margins are on your products or service that you're selling. So if you sell a coaching service and it's $100, or you say you sell a digital course and it's $100 and it costs you $10 to produce, you have a $90 profit margin. Maybe you donate $10 from that, you're still making $80 in profit. That's great. If you have a course that's $100, it costs you $10, and then you're going to donate 70 of it and you walk away with 20, you're starting to get smaller margins. It doesn't make sense, but at least your metric. You only make $20 profit on the product. That's when I talked about my friend with his shaker cup. He still has his main product, which is going to make him all of his profit. And it's the upsell products that he's trying to use for branding and marketing that people will see on shelves and people will see in videos and things like that, that he's willing to sacrifice a little bit more of his profit to make sure that he has that. To also, maybe he was selling 10 of his shaker cups a month. If we add giving to it and he starts selling 30 of them a month and he gives half of that profit away, he's actually more profitable with it. So to simplify that, using it as a line item in your business. And I don't care if it's $1, $10, $50, $100. It is about the muscle that you build through giving to be the person you want to be, so that as you scale the company, as you scale the business, and as you sell more products, so does your giving. Just because you give $1 today doesn't mean you can't just up that to $10 or create a new product. It just is about building the muscle.
Yeah, awesome, mate. I love that. And I love the distinction around branding as well, because I think branding is extremely important, and investing in your brand and upgrading it. And it's like, because branding necessarily doesn't have an ROI like the marketing part does, right? Later. But this is a way to think about it, is that in some elements, maybe like you mentioned with that person, where that they're going to go, you know what, I'll take a little bit off this because it's going to build the brand, which will then attract more customers. So it's a different type of strategy to build authority. So I love that. So
you get it, bro.
Yeah, different ways, man, of cutting it, which is cool, right? So, but yeah, everyone make sure you're doing your numbers on it as always, or willing to go, okay, I'm willing to invest this much to build the brand, and then see what.
There's a reason nonprofits are called nonprofit, because they're not profitable. They're not designed for profit. We don't want to be nonprofit. We want to be for profit. My business is meant to make me money. I want to make $1 million. I want to own nice things. I want to do nice things, but I also want to feel not guilty about it because I did make a significant donation to charities as I got to that wealth, right? So that is the thing here is we're for-profit businesses. We're designed to make money. We are capitalists doing capitalist things, but we're trying to get away from the greedy capitalist and get to the philanthropic entrepreneurs. That is the switch that we're trying to make, is that, hey, it's okay if I make $1 million because I donated a few $100,000 along the way, whereas some other people in this world that were making $1 million might not have.
Yeah, I love it. And I'm all about systems, right, with what I do and automating things. So is there some little things, like obviously you could like potentially like look up a thing, but could we use tools like, I don't know, Zapier or something where there's some automations? If something happens, then we can, you know, trigger something to happen there to then make it a bit easier for us to do this, right? Because I think that's where the world's going. So have you seen any stories of how ways that this could work to speed us up for us?
I haven't yet. And I've talked to a lot of web designers about this kind of stuff. The hardest thing is that it's all different, right? Everybody's business is so different. You know, there's a lot of organizations out there that you can, they'll withdraw monthly donations from your account, where you can just say, hey, take $50 from my account every single month. That's amazing, but that doesn't directly respond to the line item in your business of how many products. So then you go to sell your consulting services and you sell 10 this month, 4 next month, and 15 the month after. It's very hard to have an API built in that tracks that directly. So that's kind of like behind the scenes thing that I'm slowly trying to figure out, is how do I create an API that can go into any business or partner with a bank, or how does it look? It's just very, very hard to do. So what I encourage people to do right now is no different than you have your taxes, right? You sell products and services and you charge tax. You typically have to pay your taxes. So a lot of people create a separate bank account for that. Hey, every product I sell, I'm just going to take 15% and put it into a separate account. That's my business taxes that I'm going to pay at the end of the year. We do the same with giving. Create a separate bank account for giving. And every month when you reconcile your books, that says, hey, I sold 5 consulting services and I donate $100 per consultant. I'm just going to move $500 into this account. Next month, you sell 15. Like, sweet, I'm going to move $1,500 into this account. And then you get to make the choice what to do with that money. It's easy for your accountant to track because you have a separate bank account of the transactions going out. So you can track your donations for your tax write-offs, and you just know how much money you have to give. Where if you see an opportunity to sponsor something that you like to be a part of, if you want to drip that out monthly to different charities, if you want to do different things, it just becomes a tool in your bank account for tracking that money. So every month I just reconcile, how many doors do we have? How much money am I pulling out? How many consulting services did I sell? That's how much money I'm going to pull out. And I put it all into a separate bank account called the giving bank account.
Yeah, awesome, man. I love that, getting the separate bank account as well. So you're putting that intention out there to give. And I think you touched on.
I'll just say one last thing. If you don't do that, you won't give. It's very simple. It's no different than if you're like, hey, I'm going to put money away for taxes. And then it comes to, the end of the month and you're like, oh, should I pay my tax bill or should I, pay food on the fridge? If you had pulled that money out prior to, you budget and base it on that. So I encourage people, that's the whole point of it, is like, get that money out of your bank account, because if it's in your account, there's always something better to spend it on. It's just by nature. If you pull it out of your account and you don't touch it, it's gone. You don't even think about it, and it's not part of your process. It's just like profit first. It's like taking your donations out first and get rid of the donations and your taxes, and you stay with what's left.
Yeah, awesome, man. I love it. So powerful there. And one thing you touched on a little bit before, but I'd like to delve a bit deeper into, was around like the employee engagement type of thing, right? With, programs and things like that, where you can really get them involved and get these opportunities and really grow the business. So do you want to share a little bit more, maybe as an example or something, of how we can, get our employees involved more?
I'll use an example of my friend Jason Hagen. He's 28, 29 years old, and he runs a RV sales here in the States. And he's doing about he's got 8 different locations, and he's doing like 125 or $150 million in revenue a year. Insane numbers, like unfathomable for RV sales. And what he does is he has some of the best culture inside of his business. And one of the things that he does inside of his culture is he gives his employees 1 day off every single month to go volunteer. And so every month they get together as a group, they get allocated a certain amount of funds, and they're able to go out and volunteer. And what they tend to do sometimes is they'll invite customers that have bought RVs from them. They'll invite them back to come volunteer with the team that sold them the RV. Now what he's doing is he's building the most loyal following on the planet. Hey, Athin, you just bought an RV from us. Why don't you come also work with our team and volunteer this month as we go feed a few thousand people? Well, that's kind of cool. Like, that's never been. Car salesmen are greedy and they don't care about their customers and they just care about their commissions. Again, now they're finding a different way to connect. And now their employees are finding a different way to collaborate. I just ran a mastermind in California a few weeks ago, and we took a bunch of people that didn't know each other. There was like 3 or 4 different groups that all kind of came together to this one thing. And we went to a food bank, and we took 40 people, stuffed them in a room to volunteer, and we sorted 15,000 pounds of food. We moved avocados, apples, lemons, lettuce. We just went through and sorted a bunch of stuff, but everyone connected while they were doing this volunteering. Within an hour, everyone was best friends. When we went into it was a 3-day workshop. So the first day was giving. When we went out for dinner that night, you could be sitting beside a complete stranger talking about how you just served and gave, and you were best friends. That is the cultures that we want to start seeing, not just in business, but in our communities. If you run a community, start giving back, start volunteering, run volunteering days instead of just getting together and sitting there like a AE meeting talking about, hey, my name's Randy and I run a company and this is what I do. Next, go out, volunteer, build some inspirations to people, and just finding new ways for people to feel culture, to feel supported and network with each other.
Yeah, awesome, man. I love that. Really, really powerful. Love that example. And I know you also host, your own podcast, the Go Big to Give Big podcast as well. So I'd love to hear a bit more about that. What people can learn from it as well.
Yeah, our podcast is simply that. People come on, they talk for a few minutes about their go big. So what are the things that help them go bigger? And then they share stories of giving. And it's one of the things that we found. There's a lot of guests that come on that say, we've never really got to share our stories of giving, right? Everyone always wants us to talk about how much money we're making, but nobody ever talks about how they're giving back or the impact they're making. And so we're giving people an opportunity to share a lot of that. And I mean, our tagline is helping 6-figure earners become 7-figure givers. And that comes from the thing that so many people are chasing, like, man, I just want to, get to that next 7-figure milestone, or, they're 6-figure earners and they're just trying to get to that next point. If you start looking at how can I give $1 million away, your business will 10x what you ever thought was possible with it. And so that's part of the initiative of the show, is just encouraging people to start looking at giving as a way that you can actually boost your revenues. Because when we attach a line item to it, and then we talk about making the $1 million give as your like hurrah kind of thing, that means you're going to be doing a few $1 million in revenue in order to make those donations. And so on our podcast, that's primarily what we talk about and have a lot of fun with. And it's just been very cool to see a lot of high profile entrepreneurs come in and share their stories of giving back, and watching them light up when they start talking about it. It's very infectious when we start talking about giving, and it really brings out like an abundance mindset, right? People that give typically have an abundant mindset. They're typically a little bit more friendly. They just are just good humans in general and by nature. So it's just been a lot of fun connecting with people through that platform.
Yeah, I love it, man. Sounds really awesome. I'm sure people can get a lot of value, as well as some great ideas as well of how they can do things too in their own way. And I think coaching, mentoring is really important in business. I know it's been for myself a lot, and I'd love to hear it from your perspective. I know you've got your own mastermind as well, but generally, how important has coaching, mentoring been for you, and what you've helped you to achieve?
Oh man, you got another 40 minutes for another podcast episode, because coaching and mentoring has been the single biggest thing in my life. I've been very lucky. Obviously, I've lost one of my mentors in the electrical industry that supported me and helped me along the way. And I've been in a lot of therapy, and I've been in a lot of coaching. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on different types of coaching. I've done like a one-on-one personal life coach. I currently have a one-on-one business coach. I've worked in a lot of group settings and group coaching. I still do therapy every few weeks. And I just think it's one of the healthiest things in the world to explore yourself. When you are the vessel for everything. I have to make all these choices as a business owner that are stressful. I might make the wrong decisions. I might put myself in situations that are hard. I might lose money. I might make money. But the biggest thing is having a secure space to go and talk about some of your emotions and feelings is one of the healthiest things that you can ever have. And you just don't get that in a friendship with someone else. I can't go to one of my friends and share some of my deepest, darkest secrets, or if something goes wrong in business, or if I have a hard conversation. But when I have a coach, when I have a mentor, when I have a therapist, I can feel a lot more safe talking about a lot of those things in those sessions and talk myself through it. So I've spent so much money, so much time, and I will continue. I'm only 32, and I'm well into the multiple six figures into coaching, supporting, and mentoring, just because that's been the thing that's allowed me to propel 10 times faster, and learning from other people's experience. And the last thing I'll say is my favorite tagline from masterminds is that I just pay for my friends. When you get around other people that are spending $20,000, $30,000 to be a part of masterminds, they're typically high achieving, high performing humans, and they're people that I just love being around. So joining masterminds, I don't look at it as an expense. I look at it as just paying for a different friend group of people that are just of different calibers.
Yeah, love it, man. So true. Completely agree. It's what I've done, invested hundreds of thousands of dollars as well, and really taken me so many levels up in areas of life and business. And yeah, it's been really powerful today, mate. So much value in what you shared. And as we're starting to wrap up, what one key piece of advice would you like to give to all the entrepreneurs watching and listening today?
You stole mine because it was going to be coaching. I mean, that's my.
You can use it if you want, mate. You can use it if you want.
The one piece of advice that I'm going to give is I'm going to go coaching, but self-development. So one of the things that I've been focusing on lately is learning who I am as a human. So I'm taking a lot of these like Colby tests and the predictive indexes and things like that. And I'm learning that I'm just an absolutely complete visionary entrepreneur. And I have a little bit of ADHD and maybe a little bit of autism or Asperger's or something in that space. And I'm learning how to use those as my gift and not be ashamed of them and not try and hide from them. I'm realizing I'm not good at operations. I'm not a slow thinker. I don't like methodical things. I operate very fast. I make very quick decisions. I'm a big visionary thinker. And when I get put in positions where I can't do that, I actually diminish what I'm actually capable of and the support that I can bring to organizations. So learning about that as a entrepreneur, that what you are as an operator, how you like to operate, and stepping into that as a gift as opposed to shying away from it is one of the best things you can ever do.
Yeah, I love it, mate. So true. Great way to enhance that and knowing more about ourselves so we can then enhance our lives and enhance everybody else as well around us. And yeah, we connected through our networks, learned about your awesome journey from, where you started off to, co-founding REINVESTORS to your bigger mission of wanting to inspire people with your Go Big to Give Big movement. Awesome, guys. So much value, mate. And I'm sure you continue to encourage others to go bigger with their dreams and goals so they can give bigger with their profits. And very grateful that we connected. I look forward to working with you. So, Randy, how can people find you and get in contact with you?
Yeah, you can go to GoBigToGiveBig.com. Very simple. Or you can find me on social media at Randy Molland, Molland. And I'm very social on LinkedIn and Instagram is where I'm DMing a lot of people right now and having a lot of fun just connecting with people through our shows and stuff. But anything Go Big to Give Big in the world is all mine. Any hashtag, any name, anywhere is all us. Yeah, awesome, guys. Definitely check out Randy on those social platforms and the website and everything else. Because so much awesomeness with giving back to then grow yourself and your business at the same time. And I'll challenge your audience and just say, like, one of my favorite things is getting DMs of stories about giving. So if anyone's listening to this and has a really cool story of giving back or impact they've made, send me a DM. It makes me super happy seeing it, and allows me to hear more stories and inspired to continue to spread this word and this mission. So if you're listening, send me a DM about your favorite story of giving back.
Yeah, awesome, guys. Definitely check that out and DM to Randy with that, because the more we share it publicly as well, the better it is, to put that energy out there into the world. And thank you to everyone for watching and listening to this show where we talk about everything on business growth. And please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as Athin Cassiotis, or visit my website, athincassiotis.com. And if you want to grow and scale your business, you can reach out to me on any platform to see if we're a good fit. And I completely agree with you, or do I? The only way we know is if you tune in next time. So until next time, remember that our business grows when we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. So remember to design your growth and results.